savoury oatmeal instead of the kind of oatmeal that you probably normally used to eating with perhaps some banana or other fruits such as frozen blueberries, or like the camping oatmeal that I showed you with butter, brown sugar and evaporated milk in it. So today we're going to use two ingredients, primary ingredients that is going to be half an apple and some Canadian back bacon, because that's what we happen to have on hand. But first of all, we'll prep the apple, and you should always use sharp knives to do your work. Dull knives cut. Sharp knives cut too, but dull knives tend to slide through a piece of whatever it is that you're cutting and turn one way or the other. Not going to end up digging into a person's hand, which is not very good at all. Now we're going to peel this fruit. We don't want the peel on it. It just doesn't fry up and be that yummy. And because it's only half an apple, it only takes a second or so to peel. There we go, that's the first piece. That's the second piece. Talking about knives, you should always keep them sharp. A sharp knife does a much better job than one that's dull. Some people have the idea that, oh, God, I have a dull, you can't let the knife get too sharp, somebody might hurt themselves. That's not the case. The dull knife is more likely to cause an injury than a sharp knife. Sharp knives will cut, most certainly. They'll give you a small flesh cut. But a dull knife, because you're putting a lot of pressure behind it, because it's dull, will dig deep into your flesh and give you a very, very severe wound. This is not just a cut that you can cover with a band-aid, this is a wound. So please take my advice and use only sharp knives. I will cut the apple up into, small bite-sized chunks, or even smaller. And that's the apple ready to go. Then the next thing we're going to use is a little bit of bacon. For each person, one slice of Canadian back bacon. And here it is, fat and all, in all of its gory glory. I cut it up into strips, like that, and then turn around and cut it into strips, so that the other way, so I end up with little squares, more or less. So there's all of my ingredients right there for the savory part of this recipe. I'm going to take my frying pan. I'm going to put all of these in my frying pan. Here I'm using a non-stick frying pan. However, an iron frying pan would do really well, and I recommend actually that you use stainless steel frying pans wherever you can. Okay, so that's that. Now the next thing we need to have in there is just a little bit of oil, not a lot, just a little bit of oil so things don't burn. There we go. We've got ham and apple. Why would we use ham and apple? Well, what is it that you put onto your roast pork? You put applesauce. So ham and apple go together very, very well. And this apple was on its last legs. In other words, if I had left it for a little while longer, it would have become inedible. As it is, it's now quite edible. So let's move over and fry this up. Now you do need to cook this until the apple comes a little soft. But you don't really want anything to burn, but you do want the bacon to cook. Bacon, by the way, is mostly already cooked. It's cooked because it's been preserved using salt or smoking or anything like that. So just like smoked fish, this would be perfectly edible raw. but not after it's sat around on the kitchen table. In fact, the expression chew the fat comes from a time when visitors would come to your home. Hanging up in the rafters of your house would be hams and bacon and so on and so forth. And if you're going to treat your guests well, besides serving them ale, you would also stand up with a nice sharp knife and you would cut off a hunk of fat and hand each guest a hunk of fat and maybe some meat on it, and everybody would sit around and chew the fat. And so that's where the expression comes from, and nowadays it's meant to imply gossip or just general conversation with a friend or somebody that's a relative or something like that. But where it comes from is people actually used to sit around and chew the fat. Fat has always been a highly sought after product because of its nutritional value, because it takes a long time to turn into sugar, and the body stores it up, and it's a resource that your body can use when it needs some extra energy. So fat has always been highly prized, but of course in days of yore, in days gone by, people were not abusing this because they simply couldn't afford to. And there were no 700-pound or 900-pound men or women. There were some plumpers, that's for sure, because plumpness was a sign of good health. And as far as women were concerned, and men, desirability. A plump man or a plump woman was much more desirable than a skinny one. You can see from that how much the world has really, really changed. So anyway, here we go. This is cooking up nicely. We turn it down a bit now because it's starting to brown. The apple looks almost like hash browns mixed up with bacon, but we do want the bacon to cook. It's very important that the bacon cooks. Okay, so bring it down. This is not quite stir fry, but something like it. Stir fry means you fry and you stir it. You don't just let it sit there in the pan and burn. And stir frying also gives food the opportunity to get cooked on all sides of it. So here we go. Here's this, and it's just cooking up just so nicely. And let's see what happens with this. Now, one of the things I'm going to use to flavor this with a little bit is we're going to stretch our arms all the way across the continent, all the way to Asia. And we're going to add something different to this mixture that will change the flavor of it slightly and enhance it. So it'll be extra yummy. Now you don't have to do this because you may not want to. But this is something called Indonesian sweet soy sauce. And it's soy sauce that has been sweetened with a lot of sugar, by the way. So use it in moderation. Okay. So this won't change the savory nature of it. And it takes a long time to come out. And once it starts to come out, it's sort of like ketchup, it really comes out quickly. There we go. So there's the Indonesian sweet sauce, which once it hits the heat will become a lot runnier. And we just stir that. That smells so good. It's too bad that we don't have smell-o-vision, and you could smell how this really, really smells like. And it darkens up all of the things. Now you can see from this that some of the bacon is really quite well cooked, and the pieces of apple really now look like hashed brown potatoes cooked in a pan. Okay, that is cooked. So I'm going to turn the heat off, but I'm going to leave the pan on the stove. Now here comes the service. The hot oatmeal is still nice and hot, and you can see it's thickened up considerably. So we'll just put the oatmeal into the bowl here. I like a nice white bowl to put oatmeal in. Don't ask me why. My favorite colors for dishes and bowls are blue and white, and in particular I like if there's going to be any decoration on it, I like the Chinese style. Now here we go with the apple, and I put it in a line across the middle so that it looks like a little and there we are. There's the top of it. Now doesn't that look yummy? Now something else that I didn't speak about but I pre-prepared is some cilantro. Cilantro is also known as Chinese parsley. It's not parsley at all. But anyway, if you like this, it's great to add it on because it adds a little pungency to the flavor of the oatmeal. The other item that I'm going to add to this will be some ordinary butter or margarine. And if you're really concerned about adding more fat to your diet than necessary, you can just use margarine or nothing at all. All these are choices. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything that I'm telling you to do. This is just giving you ideas for things. So, for example, if you have a favorite kind of meat or something like that, and you want to use that with a favorite kind of fruit, by all means knock yourself out. I'm just giving you options here. And after doing that, I'm then going to add just a little bit around the edges regular soy sauce. And this will add a little more saltiness to this. So this is a savory dish. There we go. Just a tiny little bit of soy sauce. And there's our nice dish fit to put before a king. And no doubt about it. And that will be enjoyed by almost anybody that you put it in front of. And they won't believe that you're serving them oatmeal. And this makes an excellent breakfast, and it only takes a few minutes to make. There's a slight amount more preparation than there is for cutting up a banana, because now you have to cut up a piece of apple. The banana you don't normally fry. You just put it straight into the hot oatmeal just at the end of its cooking period, or on top. Depends on how you do it. But this is a savory version and of oatmeal for breakfast. Okay, jolly good. Now just to give you something to tantalize you, I'm going to let you have the pleasure of watching me eat this. And like I say, it's too bad there's no such thing as smell-o-vision. Absolutely delicious. Just divine. There's nothing at all that even comes close to describing how this tastes. Well, so yummy. Can't even begin to tell you how yummy that is. It makes a huge change from the regular old-fashioned oatmeal. It takes only a minute or two longer to prepare than normal oatmeal, and I recommend it.